What's going on, guys? I am back with a special little video talking about the best RLCS World Championship Face-Off player I saw at LAN. And I won't spoil the surprise for a little while, so if you want to try and guess, feel free. I'm going to go over their solo diagonal face-off. So basically, I have a formation up on screen right now, and I'll leave it over here. So basically, it's the 1-2 setup of there's one on a diagonal, two in the middle. It doesn't matter where the two are in the middle, but I just want to explain how this face-off works for this team and why it was so effective. And basically, this player, he had 20 solo diagonal face-offs. So the reason why I'm only looking at solo diagonal is because that was the one I noticed the most. He does use a similar face-off when he goes for a double diagonal, but of course, if the player comes from the same way, it kind of screws it up. And then say there's three in the middle, and he goes for a face-off from there. He uses a very similar approach for that, and it's pretty successful there as well. But I wanted to focus in on the most successful, the solo diagonal face-off for him. He had 20 of these in the entire tournament, and 16 face-off wins, and pretty clean wins, like pretty convincing, 4 face-off loss. So I'm going to get into why this happened, and you guys can continue to try and guess who it is. So first, you have your one guy on the diagonal, all set up to go, and then basically what happens is on the face-off, he, of course, is going to go for the ball. The other two actually go for both boosts. Now, the reason why this is good is, sure, it leaves your net wide open, but if you can trust your face-off player, then you won't have to worry about it too much. As long as he doesn't screw up, which he did screw up once in the RLCS, and it actually just cost him a goal. It was just a free goal. That might give you a better clue into who it is. But as long as he doesn't screw up this face-off, there's no threat of it going in. And then two guys have 100 boosts, and then right after his face-off, he can go collect some boost or get ready for a play if need be. But generally, he can go grab some boost and then fall on back and continue with the rotations. But the best part of both players going for boost is he doesn't have to decide before the kickoff where to go. He can decide while he's approaching it, seeing how the other players are approaching the kickoff, and then choose, do I want to go left or do I want to go right? So that's why I think this face-off works really well, and it's good that both players go for boost because he has the two options. It's not like he has to call it before he even goes for the face-off. Calls like, all right, I'm pushing this to the right or I'm pushing this to the left. He can decide based on the face-off of the other player and a split second to the end and see how that all works out for him. So this is why this face-off works really well. And he won 20 out of... he won 16 out of his 20, so 75% win rate from this face-off. We're going to get into the video now. And the player that I'm talking about, here's your last chance to guess, is Jacob from NRG. His face-off was insane. Every single time, basically, he was sending the ball right back to his teammate who just collected boost and can begin to play with 100 boost and clear possession of the ball. It was working really well for them. They scored a few goals off of the possession, but NRG is a very possession-heavy team anyway. There was times when they would win this face-off and have the ball in the other end for like 45 seconds. It didn't always result in a goal, but it did here or there. And we're going to get into the two ways he does this face-off. He has two options where he goes left or he goes right, or should I say behind him or in front of him, I guess I would say for the diagonals. But we'll get into it right now. Let's get into the video here. So real quickly, we see Jacob coming up for this one. So this is the one where he decides he cuts it to the right. So he wants to push it away from him. He sees Marky's coming at the ball pretty hot. And he actually cuts around the ball and then side flips at the very last second to push the ball to Garrett. He always wants to lose it back to his corner. And that worked out really well. He can't go for the second touch or the first touch. So he kind of waits it out. He sees Marky going for a pretty fast kickoff and decides that he wants to try and push this, so he cuts to the right last second. Like, Marky's already in his flip. He knows how that face-off's going to happen for Jacob, and he pauses and does that. Now, in this one versus Mockett, here's the other face-off where he throws it behind him. He purposely drives past the ball, just blocks the middle of the field. He doesn't want to get a good piece of it. He angles his car just so it banks off the side of his car, falls right back to his teammate who just collected boost from his own diagonal starting spot. And then this play actually turns into a face-off goal. We can see my beautiful camera work here of Jacob went all the way forward, grabs the boost. Mystic's not expecting Jacob to be there, grabbing that boost. Turns into a really good pass play, and then Garrett gets the finish So really well done here. We'll see it from his point of view real quick. So we see here he's going for the face-off, but instead of cutting to the right, he cuts to the left and just kind of like, it's almost like a fake kickoff. He lets the ball just go by him. All he wants to do is just get a little piece of it. See how he side flips as well, just to make sure that he's going to time it right. But he just wants to block it from going right down the middle. And then as soon as it falls into one of his corners, his teammates who have 100 boost can set up this awesome passing play. And then Jacob as well, grabbing the boost to begin this play. And then all three have 100 boost, while all of Mockett don't have as much. A few of them have 100, but it works out here for the passing plays. And this is why they can keep possession for so long. All three, right after faceoff, get 100 boost and have sole possession of the ball, so they can start it off in a really good way. Use this menu to turn on autoplay. No thanks. But yeah, so that's it for that. I want to actually get into the game now and show it off a little bit. Show you what he's trying to do here. We'll just go into free play, so it's not that big of a deal. But basically, like, off this diagonal, he waits to see what type of face-off. And honestly, he has two options. He can use either one most of the time. The problem is, there are ways to beat it. He lost to Markey once, who threw the ball right at him. Basically, Markey goes for the fast kickoff and pushes the ball so fast that he doesn't have as much time to like turn his car, and it basically banks off Jacob and then goes deep into the other end. So back to like flip side's end, like back here. He also lost to Cooksier, who Jacob tried for the fake like this, like trying to fake and tap it back to his teammate. But what Cooksier did was he just powered through the ball and then followed behind it, and then won a 50-50 with Fireburner. So you can also do that. Like if you, instead of going for that weird little side flip or whatever, just follow right behind the ball. As long as you don't hit it too hard, then you could get a good 50-50, and that's what Cooksier did. Then one time he pushed it a little bit too sideways. Like he went, so Jacob going for the face-off like this. He went for the fake to throw it back to the sidewall to the left. And it just went basically perfectly center, and it could have been a winnable ball, but K-Dop just beat out Fireburner on the wall. And then Mystic did the same thing that Markey did earlier, where he just went extremely fast at it and pushed the ball right into Jacob, so it ricocheted back before Jacob could set up his angles. But the reason why I love this face-off is because he has two options every single time, and it keeps the other team on their toes, and he doesn't know exactly what's going to happen. Basically, all he's got to do is go like this. He is always going for like a second touch, but he just wants to block this middle and like kind of like that. So now he's in a good angle where the ball could ricochet off him, but it's still going to fall back into the corner where his teammate is waiting. And then if he goes from the other way, like so, like that, he has to go up a little bit closer to the ball, make sure he cuts off the angles. But then he speeds through it and goes towards the opponent's boost. But then it bounces off his car here and then falls back to that corner. And that's why these plays work so well. Also, on both of these, he has a pretty good chance to grab some boost. If he goes this way, he can immediately just go for this boost from the middle. If he goes for the other way, he does fall more into like the enemy's side, and that's why you saw in the play where they scored, he goes and grabs that boost as well. So either one is viable on both sides. Well, from this side, when he goes for like kind of the fake behind him, he can go for the opponent's boost as well. He can go all the way back there. It really depends on the situation, on how well he did on the face-off. But, yeah, so that was Jacob. I was really impressed with his face-offs in the World Championships. And I want to see more teams start coming up with some of these plays. Energy seemed to have a lot of decent face-off opportunities. Like, I don't have stats for every single face-off, but Jacob's 75% win rate on the solo diagonal was by far the best, I thought. And he impressed me throughout the entire weekend. Like, I kept seeing the same exact face-off over and over and over, and it kept working. And then Fireburner and Garrett, if they have the ball by themselves with 100 boost, they can definitely get it into the other end or create a scoring chance and then allow for that offensive presence for 30 seconds, 45 seconds, up to a minute. So that's what Energy did so well when they were playing, what was it? I guess it was like a week and a half ago at this point, but that was just one of the factors. But faceoffs are really key, and I hope teams start trying to figure out how to win faceoffs cleanly, or at least try to. Obviously, it's hard because you got one guy from each side that's trying to win it. You can only win half the time on average, but Jacob was doing really well. So I want to see a little bit more plays like that coming out of these teams. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And Jacob, you are the man at Faceoffs, and it was extremely impressive. I don't know how much more I'll be breaking down the World Championships. We'll see if I have time. But I really wanted to break down the Faceoff thing, so I'm not sure if it's really been said anywhere. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. Later.